So generally, I would say you should be leading within really like 2 to 5 minutes, maybe 10, somewhere in that range. Sometimes even faster if it's really on. Just take her straight to the dance floor, take her straight to a different area. But it's much more common that guys don't lead enough, they don't escalate enough, they don't sexualize enough than it is the other way around. And the guys that are a little bit pushy, and never be too pushy, but that are a little bit on the pushy side, like, hey, let's go. Hey, I have an after party. Even if they're awkward, like I knew one guy who I thought must have autism because he was just so awkward the way he talked. He just didn't seem to register, social cues like people who autism do. And this guy was also not good looking. And this was in LA. It was actually the Bungalow. I'm going to be going to an LA for a boot camp this weekend, but it was in the Bungalow in Santa Monica. And I saw this guy get rejected harshly again and again and again and again. But every time he was approaching girls, and I didn't even want to be around him or wing with him because I did a couple times and he was just like, hey, I have an after party nearby. It's just 5 minutes away. He was doing that like really, really fast and not building any attraction or like rapport or anything. And I thought there's no way this guy's ever going to pull. And then later in the night, and I was actually pulling myself, but later in the night, I was with this girl and I saw him with a girl who was shockingly hot. It was like she was like a 9 out of 10 in my look scale. She looked like a model, and not like a new model where it's, chubby women, like a model from the 90s when they were actually hot. And he pulled her and he said he slept with her. I can't confirm that for sure, but it looked like it was on. And I've seen a lot of examples of guys like that, where they're a little bit awkward, but they just have no hesitation going for it, right? They just go for it and they'll just go, 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 go. And they don't care about the awkwardness. They don't care about feeling like, oh, that was cringe. Their ego isn't affected. And those guys do very well. Now, they would do a lot better if they were also smooth. But if you had to choose between being smooth and being someone that really goes for it, being someone who really goes for it would be the better of the two. And yeah, that was a very interesting experience. It was during an RSD hot seat, I think it was. And it was a night where the girl I pulled, I actually got her to get on her knees and beg to have sex with me. Not in a like she wanted to. It was a role play, a BDSM role play, basically, where I went from initially just I was about to make out with her, and then let me think exactly what I said. I was about to make out with her, and it was like, and I pulled away, and then I said, "Say please, make out with me." And then she's like, "Okay, please make out with me." And then I added, "Master, please make out with me, master." And then eventually, when I actually took her to her place, took it all the way to her getting on her knees and begging me to come home with her. And I was with my friend, and he was in awe of this whole thing because first of all, she was really hot, and he kept talking about, "Damn, she was hot." Like, that was cool. And also, literally just getting this full on role play. Now, that's not going to work on every woman, but there's some who have the archetype where they really like that dominant submission thing, the whole 50 Shades of Grey thing. It's a lot, but not all. And if you sense a woman has that kink playing into it, that's like her sexual fantasy. Like that'll have the best sex of her life, right? And it's actually doing her a favor. It's more, I mean, you get the power trip or whatever, but it's really more for her than it is for you. So that was a great night where I had a good time, but also, perhaps even more importantly, I just saw this guy who had no game. He was maybe a 5 out of 10 looks wise, right? He wasn't ugly, but he wasn't good looking. And he pulled a really hot girl through sheer willpower, right? Just going for it so hard.